I want to bring in Diamond Isinger, a former special advisor to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on Canada-U.S. relations. Diamond, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
From what you've heard and from everything you've seen, at least initially on this first full day of talks in Beijing, what do you make of reaction so far, with the understanding clearly that the big meeting is coming tomorrow?
Yeah, it's positive to see some key deliverables come out of Carney's international engagements. He has had many meetings in the time since he's become Prime Minister of Canada with a variety of international partners. But because of the early or preliminary nature of those, we haven't always gotten to a point of signing an MOU or proceeding on a clear basis. This initial batch from today of some positive agreements in some areas is great, but we'll see tomorrow what comes, if anything, on any concessions that Canada may need to make on electric vehicles, whether there is a resolution that can be reached on canola, for example, and a variety of other mutual areas of interest that Canada and China could do more work together on.
Yeah, does this bode well for that, I guess, initially, or it's still maybe because there weren't high expectations that there would be, like you mentioned, some of those deliverables, at least at this point, more of conversations, but certainly feels that this was a good sign today?
Yeah, I think the tone on their day one is positive going into day two. Any way in which the relationship can start out on a positive note between the two leaders is a good thing. With that said, these issues are pretty fraught. We have, and as I know that you've covered on your network in recent days, lots of domestic concern about concessions that might be made on electric vehicles because of the negative impact that that could have on our Canadian automotive sectors, the intense competition that would come from China being able to compete at a much higher level, but also on the canola front. And canola has been a long-standing challenge, as have a variety of agricultural products between Canada and China, particularly not just with tariff barriers, as we're seeing right now, being used as a tool, but non-tariff barriers about the movement of canola from Canada to China. We saw way back in 2016, 10 years ago now, a variety of issues where Canadian canola did not have easy or ready access to the Chinese market. And that took actually many months and a series of conversations between the then Prime Minister and the Chinese government.
Yeah, and again, it's interesting, and it's, as we talk about the background of this, I'm curious, too, your thoughts on how all of this will affect, too, as well. We talk about the Canadian auto industry in particular, if there is movement on the EV tariffs, but also from Donald Trump, too. We've heard his rhetoric this week and talking about, as we try to get, the possibility of getting renegotiations underway for CUSMA, but your thoughts on that, too, that if there is at least, we lessen it or there is some relief for some sort of tariffs, how that's going to affect the relations with Canada-U.S.
Yeah, well, it's hard not to to perceive the president as the looming specter over all of these interactions between Canada and China. That's a lens through which Canada needs to look at all of its relations with the world right now. And that is the primary motivator for Canada to be doing additional business with China, to be doing additional business with countries around the world, to do business with markets that wish to work with us in a collaborative fashion. The challenge that I see ahead, though, is the fact that we have dealt with so many challenges this past year, certainly during the first Trump administration, about the Trump team sort of avoiding abiding by the rules of rules-based trade order. And the Chinese government is not necessarily a partner that can be relied on as well in quite the same way to actually uphold norms of how we might work together. They are a very different country to that of Canada, as has been alluded to in many ways. So how that can be resolved in the time to come, we'll see. And but additional opportunity with China is a positive in dealing with our challenges with the United States.
Diamond Isinger, former special advisor to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Appreciate your time today, Diamond. Thank you for this.